welcome to Talk Comics. We are rebooting and crossing over. Oh, every good comic requires a reboot and a crossover.
Absolutely, definitely.
And I'm here with James, actually Lord Jimsicle.
Lord Jimsicle, that's me, yeah.
Who has his own show.
Yeah, it's called You Have Issues. Just check it out. A shameless plug. I hope you don't mind, Elliot.
No, my pleasure.
YouTube.com/Jimsicle. Just check it out.
Well, we're going to have to start with some news, okay? We haven't been with you for a while, and that was due to Kapow. Kapow was massive. I mean, we were at Kapow, we were having a conversation with a lot of famous people. I can see Nubel's thinking about his Mark Miller moment, especially with his Clint fanboyness. So we got to meet Mark Miller, we got to see Scott Snyder. You can go and see the interviews at our YouTube channel and on the website and obviously at the Facebook, so check them all out. We also had a chance to meet the head of Marvel, Joe Quesada.
Yeah, I saw that interview. That was really, really awesome, yeah.
So that was a good moment for us. And for you artist fans out there and writers who are trying to break in, we also had a chance to meet CB Saluski.
Like How Marvel Works, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, that's right. How Marvel Works. Yeah, and he kind of had a chance to explain to us exactly what you guys need to do to get in there. Okay, next time hopefully we'll have a chance to speak to someone like Dan Didio. Or we missed that. And I was gutted, but we just crossed paths and didn't get a chance to interview him.
If you pardon the pun, I have major issues with Dan Didio.
Really?
He's done to DC. Yeah.
Well, that kind of brings us on to the New 52 a little bit, so we can have a little chat about this New 52. I mean, for those people that don't realise, I'm quite a Marvelite, and I'm quite obvious and honest about that. I'm not going to lie. I do like my DC. I don't have any issues with it. I do pick up titles quite regularly, and we were having a chat just before outside about it, but Lord Jimsicle here actually has a very good knowledge again of DC, and I always like to have someone who can contrast and tell me I'm talking rubbish, which is always good as well.
There'll be plenty of that, don't worry.
Yeah. So, he knows his DC quite well, and you're not happy with the New 52?
Well, no, many things. I mean, the most recent news was, of course, changing Alan Scott's sexuality, that he's now gay. I don't have a problem with characters being turned gay necessarily. I think this was the wrong one, because what it's effectively done is it's just wiped out two characters that have existed pre-Flashpoint. So there's his daughter Jade, who was a superhero in her own right. She was actually a member of the Green Lantern Corps for a while.
Yeah.
And then there's also Alan's son, Obsidian, who is gay. So all they've done really is just amalgamated Alan Scott and his son.
You could say they might be a little bit homophobic, really, because they've made it a genetic thing. That's not really acceptable, is it?
Not really, no. Although this is a different debate for another time.
Yeah,
really,
I think we'll just leave that alone.
Yeah.
It was obvious that it was a reaction, in my opinion, to the X-Men marriage that's happening. In fact, El, if you could just pass me a copy. It's coming out today. We are happily on the Wednesday, very kindly, in Mega City Comics in Camden, who are letting us show this off, which is our copy. Well, not ours, but theirs. Their copy of the Astonishing X-Men with the marriage on the front. And that was quite, a reaction, really.
I agree. It's an obvious response.
Knee-jerk? Was it knee-jerk reaction?
I'd say so, because they've been talking about the marriage and all stuff for a long time, and DC is just, if you ask me, with the New 52, they're just trying to be a bit too much like Marvel. Marvel do it really well, DC shouldn't, and this, of course, they're right, what else are Marvel doing? Let's just let a famous gay character get married. Okay, we need something along the homosexual variety. Let's make Alan Scott gay.
And do you know what? The media's response to it was ridiculous, because it's really not news.
No.
I mean, the fact that they've got a gay character there is not news. There's been plenty of gay characters before. I'm sure there'll be plenty of gay characters after. And to be honest with you, even the marriage wasn't news. I mean, I think the Authority had a marriage in it, and that was Wildstorm, which is technically DC before. So you could say that DC got there first on a technicality, but really, it's not news. It's really not.
No, I think it's just silly, and it just shows desperation from DC. If you ask me, it really is.
What would you have liked? What would you have liked to seen happen, though? I mean, if they had to pick, if they felt the need to pick a character who was gay,
Well, see, that's another thing. I wouldn't know. I mean, there are some choices like maybe Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, Kyle Rayner seemed really obvious to me. If you're going to pick a Green Lantern, I know that. Maybe I'm being stereotypical. Maybe that was the whole point. Maybe they're trying to break stereotypes. I don't know, but I felt that Kyle Rayner was a more natural choice. He seems to be a guy,
Well, he's had girlfriends and everything like that, but then But then again, Alan Scott had children. I'm not saying it's impossible for
anything is possible in comics. Well, if they come back from the dead, then they can change sexuality.
It's so true. It's utterly ridiculous. But
I suppose we should move on, and we've got so much movie news to talk about.
Yeah, quite a lot. 2012 has been a great year for superhero movies.
But you know what? We haven't actually been on since the Avengers movie came out.
Yes, let's talk about that.
And the Avengers movie out of 10 was for me 11.
Oh yeah, easily.
I mean, superb. I mean, look, there's nothing I can say that hasn't already probably been said and won't be said about it. But one thing that, if you check out the interview that I did at Kapow with Joe Quesada, I brought up an interesting point, which was that for most people, they're going to see someone quite famous at the end, a villain, cosmic, massive villain. It's Jim Starlin's villain, in fact. And I don't really know how they're going to do a story without some of the characters being already sold to Fox. So Silver Surfer right now is owned by Fox, so it can't do any. Dare I say it? I'll bleep that out.
Yes, good idea.
Yeah, I'll bleep that out. Yes, bleep. Characters who are going to be out there. But if you haven't seen the film already, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, seriously,
You've got time to watch this show and you haven't got time to see the Avengers. Go and do that. What are you doing here? Turn us up. Put us on pause. Put us on pause.
Yeah, we'll be here when you get back.
We'll be here. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. Go to the cinema, go and watch it, come back, and then listen to what we have to say.
I have to say as well, if you decide to go and see The Dark Knight Rises and then go back and see the Avengers, I'm going to be very disappointed with you. Quite honestly, because I'm a huge Batman fan, but the thing is, after watching the Avengers, I'm just like, right, well, I'm sorry, but The Dark Knight Rises looks like it's going to be pretty mundane compared to it. Because the thing with the Avengers, what I loved, is that this is how comic movies should be.
Right.
But it's got the suspense, it's got the action, it's got the humour, it's got some drama in it and everything like that. With DC movies, it's always just been, right, we have a hero, great, let's make him really moody and generally unlikable. Batman, right? What they presumably are doing with the Man of Steel movie.
Yes.
Because, Nolan's name's attached to it, they're like, oh, Superman has to be dark. No, he doesn't.
That would be a bit weird if Superman was dark, wouldn't it?
They've tried it, it's awful.
No? When did they try it?
Well, not strict analogues. If you
mean in the comic book they tried it?
In the comic books they tried it.
Right.
But even with, like, smaller ones...
how do you make someone who's like, the American way, justice in the American way, dark? That doesn't really...
It's stupid.
I don't know how that would work. But technically, Red Sun was quite dark.
It was, but it's an Elseworld, so they had
they could get away with that.
Exactly.
And he wasn't even American, was he?
No, Russian.
No, so it kind of, Anyway, if you want to see it, well, don't worry about that. Just check it out.
Just check it out, yeah, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. The new Spider-Man movie, I mean, I can't wait to see it, but... There has been so many TV spots, trailers, behind-the-scenes footage, viral videos, that I feel like I've already seen the movie. I've seen most of this movie already. If you go to the Talk Comics website, you can actually go and watch at least, I think, 15 different videos, all with separate footage on them. Not the same footage, some of them 4 minutes long. So I think it comes to about 20 to 25 minutes of movie footage.
That's like 1/8 of the film. What's the point?
I don't know. I found it really, really strange. And the reason I believe is really that Sony are really putting a lot of money behind this to make sure that it's going to be a success. A lot of people aren't all that interested to go and see a rehashed Spider-Man after the Raimi movies.
I'm one of them, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm still going to see it, and who knows, it might be good, but there's just a few plot details I'm irritated about so far.
Well, what's bothered you?
Well, they're calling Peter Parker's parents' death into question. That's never happened before.
Yeah, it's not really about
Uncle
Ben, is it? It's kind of like an Ultimates but not Ultimates kind of movie, really. It's definitely very different, and they actually have the Ultimates kind of suit. It's not the suit that we
616. No, it's not 616.
Yeah. So look, I wish them the best of luck, but I'm looking forward to the day that Spider-Man goes back to Marvel Studios, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that will be good.
We've had other news that Black Panther is being made into a movie.
That would be interesting.
That is interesting.
I've not read any Black Panther. I've seen him in cartoons like Ultimate Avengers 2 and everything, and I thought, he was really awesome, but I think it'd be good to have him in a movie.
I think the connection is the vibranium that Captain America's shield's made from, and obviously...
so no one else owns the rights to this character? Is it going to be a Marvel Studios production?
It's going to be a Marvel Studios production.
Nice.
There has been names tagged to it. I don't want to mention them here. You should go to the website and check it out. I don't know exactly what's confirmed and what's not confirmed. I don't think anyone does, really. And a lot of this is very much speculation. I mean, we heard about an AntMan movie for God knows how long.
Yeah, well, I've been told about 10 times over the past 2 years that AntMan's in production with Edgar Wright.
Yes.
But then that brings it to the question, what sort of tone is it going to be? I've never seen Edgar Wright direct a serious film or television show, ever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
I don't know. But look, you can check out the information at the the Talk Comics website, as always. Wonder Woman and Captain America are getting a rewrite. Captain America not so much. It's the second movie. They're saying that it's going to come out, so we can expect to see him in the modern world and see how he's dealing with it. But we've also got Wonder Woman, who they did write a TV series
which flopped
horribly badly. The studio, there was uproar with just the costume, never mind anything else.
I agree with it. It looked rubbish.
It looked awful.
You know, I mean, the actress they got to play, yeah, she was great, gorgeous and everything like that, but I don't know what her acting's like. I've only seen 10 minutes of
We just saw her running down the road, getting
Yeah.
above a car and doing some stuff, and getting off the car. And
basically.
anyway, they obviously saw it and thought, God, this is terrible, we need to start a rewrite. So they've pretty much gone back to scratch. But it is, the project is still going, apparently. And the reason is because of the Avengers. The Avengers are so successful, they're not going to let it go.
It was only inevitable they'd take a leaf out of Marvel's book, if you pardon the joke. But, it's kind of true.
But do you think we'll see a JLA set of movies?
Hopefully. But if they do, I know for a fact that all the Marvel fanboys are going to be like, oh, they're just copying Marvel. But both companies have copied to each other to a degree for years.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And here's what I think they should do, because they said they're going to reboot Batman again in like 3 years, which I think is a silly idea. What they should do is introduce people like, okay, do a proper Green Lantern movie. I enjoyed it, but it could have been better. Do a Wonder Woman movie, do a Flash movie, and then
I really want to see a Flash movie.
That would be fantastic.
I mean, it's one character they can really get away with quite nicely on screen. It suits the screen. No, we've seen Green Lantern.
Yeah, which sadly didn't go all that well.
No, I suppose not. It had its funny moments. But no, I wouldn't be putting it on my recommended list, really.
Not many people do. Although the thing with Superman and Batman, they should just introduce them in the JLA movie and then spin out separate films from them in this new continuity.
So you think they should do a reverse version?
Precisely.
So they start with the JLA and then they build up the characters.
Yeah,
individual
they're
movies.
the big two.
But the whole point of the Avengers was that they had the individual movies and then they all linked in, and it was all this really clever crossover.
But everyone knows who Superman and Batman are. Not everyone knew who Iron Man was.
Well, we had Iron Man 1 and 2, didn't we?
Well, yeah, exactly.
And we got Iron Man 3 coming out, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yes. I mean, it's just that these are all characters that were well known to people because of their separate films. Because before that, the average person who doesn't read comics, they sort of know who Captain America is, but know nothing about him. Iron Man, similar kind of thing. Whereas Superman and Batman, everyone knows who they are.
You mean, I suppose what you're saying is that they knew the name of the character, but they didn't know its history, they didn't really know much. Whereas Superman and Batman have already been done in multiple films, spanning decades now. So.
Absolutely. So they should just spin out new films from them as a result of a JLA.
So in fact, I mean, really, DC actually have an advantage in that, right, don't they? Because they've already got decades of movies to start with. So
with the same two characters as well, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and it's not like they have to explain the villains again. Joker's been done twice now. I mean, it's not going to, maybe they won't be using it, but they're there. There's going to be a new RoboCop movie.
There is.
2013 sees a new RoboCop movie, and the RoboCop comic, written originally by Frank Miller. Which was superb, really was actually. If you ever get a chance, it's out of print now. It's actually quite difficult to get hold of some of those copies.
Have you not reprinted or anything?
I think he actually rewrote or wrote something reasonably recently, like in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Again with some RoboCop stuff, but originally it was with Marvel RoboCop.
Oh, okay.
And it's moved on now, and it's with I don't know who it's with. It's with another company, but it's not with Marvel anymore. They sold those rights years ago. But the second RoboCop movie was based on something that Frank Miller had originally written.
Yeah, so cameo in it too.
Yes,
actually, as a scientist.
Yeah, that's right. So look, I'm looking forward to that 2013, and we're going to see Hugh Laurie as the bad guy.
Ooh, that would be nice.
They always have to choose an English guy, don't they?
Of course,
because we're all evil.
Works,
in this country, we're all evil.
Hear that? We are evil. You heard it here first.
Iron Man 3 is the last movie we're going to talk about, and it's actually based on this book. This book is The Invincible Iron Man Extremis, written by Warren Ellis and drawn by Andy Granoff. And that's what we've been told. And actually, Warren Ellis has said that he's not even getting a credit.
He's not?
No. Not even getting a credit in the movie.
Studio's screwing over the writers, man.
Well, is there anything new from Marvel and DC? I mean,
it's not, but it's just been brought to our attention further, more recently. Have you heard about this charity that's been sort of set up to give stuff back to the writers? Because the Avengers brought in millions and millions of pounds. Like, one of the, I think it was Jim Starlin, I can't remember, one of the main writers of the creators of the characters had to pay to go and see the film with his own characters in it.
It's probably Jim Starlin, because he hates Marvel and they don't get on well, and I doubt he got any invites. And but Brian Hitch, the whole whole look of that movie belonged to Brian Hitch and
Yeah.
Mark Millar's Ultimates. I mean, and again, we spoke to Mark Millar, and he was very proud that it looked like that, but he wasn't getting any kind of credit really, or
Which is a shame.
maybe they got a tag at the end of the movie, but I didn't see it.
No, I don't think I did either.
But that's Marvel for you. If you're going to make something for them, then those are the consequences.
This is it, yeah.
Unfortunately.